I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your cattle market summary for the week ending September the 9th. Do we have any tender footing here with the late rally there on the board? A lot of your technical analysts think that it showed some signs that it's going to go up, but really those guys are a lot like the horoscope writers. They've got an answer for everything, and if it doesn't go the way they want to, then they can refer back to one of them. I really don't think that we're in for a quick recovery right here. I really think that when we get to looking at the fundamentals, that these packers have a lot of cattle bought up for the next several weeks going forward. A lot of captive supplies put up, and supposedly we're supposed to be getting into tighter market ready numbers, but it's not coming up anytime soon, or not in the next few weeks anyway. And we're just looking like we're going to drop below $1, both on the board and in cash fats. And if we do, then there's going to be some footing somewhere in the 90s, I believe. And a lot of people I talk to think the same thing. But you look at the board last week, of course Monday everything was closed for Labor Day. But October live cattle on Tuesday was down $1.57, Wednesday back up $2.40, Thursday down $1.02, and Friday up the limit $3, ending the week on Friday at $104.40, which was up $2.80 for the week. So even though it was a big downer week in the cash market, your board actually ended up higher. Feeder cattle on the September board still. Tuesday was down $4.37, Wednesday was up $2.65. Thursday was down $1.55, just back and forth, back and forth. Friday was back up $2.62, ending the day on Friday at $134.22, which was up 65 cents. You look at your October, which has the most play in it, and we'll start talking about probably from now on, into the week at $131.27, and it's the last traded feeder cattle contract that's over $1.30. So really looking forward, we don't have a whole lot of things to look forward to yet. Fat cattle through Thursday, they sold probably the bulk of everything. There's not going to be a whole lot more because nothing happened on Friday. But 83,400 head, which is a pretty good trade, really, especially being a holiday week. If you remember back, Monday was a big holiday. But that's not a bad negotiated movement. Most of your trade was at $1.05. Which was $5 lower for the week. Had a few sales at 104 and maybe a few at 106, maybe especially out in Colorado. They tend to be able to sell their live cattle a little bit better at times. You look at your dress trade, it was 166 for the most part, but you had a few variables there, but your weighted average is going to be close to that, and that's $8 lower for the week. Box beef cutout values are poorly performed last week, and you look at that, your choice carcasses on the average of the trades for through the week, 189.49, which was down 618 compared to the previous week's average of the week, and your selects at 183.77, down 599. That's a bad performance for box beef cutout values. Of course, we know we've got over our traditional summer and traditional grilling season, but we should be able to pick that back up because people are going into the stores, and finally we're starting to see some of these retailers back off on some of these prices. They've been making a killing in the middle there between what they're buying wholesale and what they're selling to the public. But starting to get into some specials now and trying to compete with some of this cheap protein we've got with our pork and chicken. But you look at the slaughter last week, it's really hard to gauge that whenever you got holiday weeks, but it was 27,000 more than the same week a year ago. And then the previous week to that 610,000 was the biggest kill that we had in over 2 years. So we are slaughtering a lot of these cattle and trying to work our way through them, but had a lot of numbers to go yet. Corn gained some ground. That was kind of hard on feeder cattle through the week. New crop gained about 12 cents last week, and not for sure, but some of that having to do with some early yield reports coming in that aren't nearly what the forecast is. But we start getting into the bulk of this here in the next couple of weeks, and I think there's going to be more than enough corn around and fully satisfy those estimates. When you look at cash feeder cattle, your cash feeders $3 to $6 lower for the week. And of course, we didn't have any tests at our big Monday auction, so that's always hard when you don't have a good gauge there. But through the middle of the week in your high volume markets, you saw sure $3 to $6 lower. Calves even tougher than that, and we haven't seen a lot of calves trading really for quite a while. And you would think that we're starting to get a few of those early calves coming to town, that there'd be more demand for them, and there's sure going to be a lot of wheat around in the southern plains. But people are scared right now. They're just wondering where this thing is going to stop. Once the fat cattle stop going down and find firm footing, and things will start taking back off. But you got a lot of inertia going with the cash market, and it can't just jump around and hop back and forth on a dime like your futures market can. But calves on the cash side were $6 to $15 lower, and really tough on your calves, especially your first ballers that are coming to town, and it's still hot around, and of course it's October is dead calf month, and we're going to be coming into that pretty soon, when you've got hot days and cool nights and a lot of shipping fever and a lot of airborne illnesses coming around, and people are scared of that, and they remember that every year when it comes back around. And believe me, there's going to be weeks coming up in the next 6 weeks where there's going to be more supply of calves than there are demand, and it's going to be tough on those calves. So the guys that have them weaned long time, have all their shots and all that kind of thing, which I know we harp on all the time, but you go to try to straighten up calves and you'll find out. But the guys that have the calves in good shape, have them long time weaned, and I mean 45 days or more, not just 30 days. 30 days is just asking for trouble. But those will be the guys that get the best price for the calves, and they've got to have a weaned look to them too. You can't just tell the guy that unloads you at the sale barn that they've been weaned a long time. They got to have a weaned look to them, have a split switch to their tail, and get a little bit of ruggedness to them, and they'll bring more than those pretty fat ballers any day. But a lot of calves going to be coming to town, and we know that's coming, and hopefully this thing turns back around before the glut of these calves start coming to town. Look at your Friday markets on Cattle Market Central at South Coffeyville, Oklahoma. We had a load of steers on Friday afternoon at 3:15, weighed 878 at 124.60, and I'd say that's pretty close to what the market is. But here at DV Auction, we're getting ready to start our big fall production sales. There'll be a lot of breeding stock available on those sales, and go on to dvauction.com and check out the schedule, and look for some sales if you need some bulls for your fall project there. But from the home DV Auction office here in Canyon, Texas, we'll talk to you next week.